Hello? We got still got that tornado warning that is in effect here. All right. Just waiting for a minute for everybody to tune in here. All right. All right. So I think we're ready to dive into this here. All right. So we got to jump to what we have currently going on here. We do have a tornado warning that is in effect here. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We're live on the air here because we do have a tornado warning that is in effect here. That is in our coverage area down near Valentine, Nebraska. This thing has been going on forever. This thing has been going strong for about 6 hours now. This thing is just unreal. For those of you that have not been aware of what's been going on, this storm started all the way down near Arthur, Nebraska, and has since made its way all the way northeast in about 6 hours' time, all the way up towards Valentine, Nebraska here. So, as you can see here, there's Valentine, and Valentine is right on the edge of this tornado warning box. And again, this tornado warning is in effect here for another 10 minutes. Radar indicated tornado at this point. However, the last several hours, this thing has been producing a tornado for the last 4 hours. This thing has been unreal. You want to talk about a long track tornado. This is it. This thing has been going on for all evening long. It's been incredible. Um, at one point, it was also a large wedge tornado as well. So, yeah, very interesting weather today that we've had. For Sioux Falls, for our area, it has been wet, cool, windy, breezy. It's just been a cool, windy, breezy kind of day. Cloudy, um, not a lot of rain, but still kind of damp out there from the previous rains we've had. I'll go ahead and throw the temperatures on here for you guys. We're kind of going to make this into a video slash live stream, if you will, of kind of what we're looking at here for current weather conditions, and then we'll dive into all of the activity tomorrow. So I'm just going to run through these real quick. Right now, we've actually eclipsed our high here. 61 right now in Sioux Falls. That's actually our high. That's about the warmest we've been today. It was a chilly day out there today. So that is our temps there. Low 60s right now in southeastern South Dakota. 61 as well in Sioux City, and 50s in Iowa there, and then up in Minnesota, low 60s as well, and out west as well in the low 60s. So we're kind of in the same ballpark here, low 60s, upper 50s throughout our whole region. So again, there's other thunderstorms to talk about here. Western South Dakota, there's still quite a few thunderstorm activity going on here. This one was severe for quite some time here up in southeastern Montana. but that is no longer severe. We do have some general thunderstorm activity here north of Rapid City, and then east of Rapid City, in between Rapid and Wall there, some general thunderstorms. And then more activity here near the Pier area, Oneida, just some general thunderstorm activity. And then kind of in between Winter and Murdo there, there's some thunderstorms as well. There could very well be some small hail in this. Could be, up to an inch in diameter possible out of this, out of that storm, possibly some small hail there. And then also down here near Martin, down into Nebraska here, a line of thunderstorms. And that could very well be the line that moves east across the state overnight. And again, this is our main focus. So right now, we are going to shift gears and we are strictly just going to focus on this here for the next few minutes. Again, tornado warning. It is in effect here for another few minutes. Still going strong here. It's not, it's not a confirmed tornado anymore. Doesn't mean it's still not producing a tornado. It could still very well be producing a tornado. But at this point, we're looking at right now, right over Crookston. It's kind of that notch. Anytime you see that notch on your screen there, kind of in there, that's kind of the area you're looking for when you talk about any areas of rotation or possible tornado. That's the area that you look for anywhere in that notch, and that's what we see there over Crookston. Again, Valentine, Nebraska. At this point, you are in the clear. It is passing Valentine. It's not really impacting Valentine right now. I'm sure the sirens probably went off down there, but Valentine, Nebraska, thankfully avoided this storm. It missed Valentine to the west. So again, there's also probably some large hail in this storm as well. This is according to the Doppler radar, suggesting 2-inch hail in this storm. Now, it doesn't mean that that's what's happening. That is a radar estimate of what you can expect for hail out of this storm. So it would not shock me at all if we get a severe thunderstorm warning pop up on this storm, as it looks like it's definitely a hail maker. Anytime you get that kind of coloring on the radar picture, anytime you get that purple and black colors, anytime you get that, you're usually going to see some large hail associated with that. And that's kind of what we're seeing there. And this storm is about to cross into South Dakota. So this is saying goodbye to Nebraska and heading into South Dakota as we speak here. So just be a few more minutes, and then it's going to make its way into South Dakota. So it's kind of right by that South Dakota-Nebraska border. And we still got that rotation couplet here. Anytime you get those bright red colors with the bright greens, that is where you have your rotation, and velocity is showing that here. When they're tight like that, that is what they call a couplet. That is, the area you're looking for when you see a tornado. So it's certainly possible that there could still be a tornado on this storm, but again, right now it's just radar indicated. Man, this thing has been going strong for several hours now. So yeah, this thing has been going on for, it seems like, forever. But again, that tornado warning continues for Cherry County in Nebraska. Again, Valentine, Kilgore, Crookston, all included in this tornado warning box. And again, this is moving in a northerly direction. This is moving northeast at about 20 miles per hour. Let me put a loop on this for you guys. Again, this is moving north towards, it's heading into South Dakota. And there's still kind of a notch there. You get that notch signature there. They always look for on the radar picture. This has been a supercell that has been long-tracked, long-lived, and this thing has been going on for quite some time. The reason why we have not been on the air today is because of the impacts of tomorrow. We've been working tirelessly all day trying to prepare for tomorrow, because tomorrow is a much more widespread, full-scale, major tornado, severe weather tornado outbreak, more than likely, unfortunately, for tomorrow. So that is what we've been working on today, and that's why we haven't been on. Um, we, but we are here with you guys now, bring you guys the latest. Tomorrow is going to be, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a really bad weather day. And we're going to get to all that here. But first, we got to prioritize this tornado warning that is in effect here. Again, the red polygon on your screen, that is where you got the tornado warning. Again, for Crookston, Nebraska, it's right around the Crookston area. So please, if you're in Crookston, please be taking shelter. I hope you guys have already been in your shelter, as the storm has been in your area for quite some time. So any folks that live in Crookston, Nebraska, again, it might be hard to see on the screen. Let me outline that for you. Crookston is right here, and that is kind of where that area of rotation is as well. So again, Crookston, anywhere in and around the Crookston, Nebraska area. If you got any folks near that area, be sure to let them know that there is a tornado warning, possible tornado on this storm. And again, this storm has a long history of producing a tornado. It has been producing a tornado all night long, all evening, and now it is still going here. Now, the warning box itself is supposed to expire here at 11:45, which is 1 minute from now. We'll see what they do with this warning box, if they extend it into South Dakota. It's going to be really interesting to see what they decide to do with this. But again, for those of you just tuning in, we are live here, bringing you guys the latest weather update tonight. As buckle up, folks. We have a lot of weather to get through here over the next 12 to 24 hours. So buckle up. Is going to be an interesting day tomorrow. We got to get through tonight. We got to get through tomorrow, and then we'll be smooth sailing after that. So again, it's just we're entering that season now of severe weather season, and tornado season, unfortunately, is upon us. And tonight is kind of the kickoff to that for our area. Again, our area covers the Quad State, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota. Again, tornado warning in effect here, and Crookston, again, Nebraska. Now let me look at the velocity here. And, there is still a little bit of a rotation signature there. It's actually like right on the South Dakota-Nebraska border here. So, still going strong at this point. It's still a very intense thunderstorm, very strong thunderstorm. And that area, it looks like it is a little bit north of the Crookston area now. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 3 to 6 miles, about 5 miles north of Crookston now is that rotation area that we're watching very closely. Again, this storm has been going for 6 hours now. Pretty incredible. I mean, that does not happen every day. That is pretty rare, especially for April standards. We usually see this in June and July. We usually don't see this around our area in April. So pretty rare there. But as shown here, it can happen. So, but that is the current situation. Again, we do have that tornado warning. Now, I did notice here, good news, it looks like this tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So that is good news there. Now we're going to obviously wait here for a little bit and see what they decide to do with this tornado warning, if they extend it here into South Dakota. Now, I will say there is possibly another area near Martin. There is possibly another rotation signature here, kind of near the Martin, South Dakota area. We'll keep a close eye on that. It's not tornado warned right now. We're just gonna watch it. Now, again, we have other storms that I mentioned before. Here's one near Presho down to Witten. that is an intense thunderstorm. Now, it's not severe as of now. That could definitely change very quickly. So, think about these storms, they could quickly become severe. It doesn't take much, doesn't take long. And these things could become very intense very quickly. But this is kind of your main line here from, you know, Wambly all the way down to Martin and down into Nebraska. That's your line there of thunderstorms. Now, we're going to continue to watch this supercell because it's still severe. Let me throw that graphic here. I gotta pull up our advisories here. 1 second here. Also, we do have the tornado watch that is in effect as well. And we do have the severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect here until midnight Mountain Time, 1 a.m. Central Time for Rapid City, Spearfish, Buffalo, Faith. The area is shaded in pink there. That is where we got the severe thunderstorm watch that continues for another hour and a half or so. And then we also have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that I gotta try to pull up here. I'm not sure why it's not pulling up here. Let's see here. I'm gonna try to get the severe thunderstorm warnings up because I know we got them. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect here. Just gotta try to find it. Okay, there we go. So I was able to pop up the severe thunderstorm warnings, and we do still have that here. Martin, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in Martin, South Dakota, please be in your safe spot. Please be taking cover. This is a very intense, strong thunderstorm. So the yellow polygon, again, severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail and 50-mile-an-hour winds. So really, this is just for hail. And again, the radar signature, anytime you get the purple and black colored radar picture, that is where we have the hail. And again, Martin, South Dakota, that is an area with large hail currently ongoing. And so that is latest on that storm. Now pivoting over here to, again, this is the one that's produced the tornadoes tonight. This one is severe thunderstorm warning, and this is in effect here. And it still says that a tornado is possible on this storm, by the way. Golf ball sized hail on this storm as it moves to the northeast. Now, this storm is picking up speed, and it is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour now. It was moving at 15 to 20, and now we're moving at 30. So this storm is starting to pick up pace here. Now going back on the velocity, and there's still a little bit of a couplet there. Now into South Dakota. It is now leaving Nebraska, now entering South Dakota, and that couplet there you see right there with the greens and the reds, kind of in a circular, small confined area. That is where we got that rotation. And back to the radar picture. Again, we got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. This one is in effect for another 40 minutes until 12:30. Again, golf ball sized hail, tornado possible on this storm still. And so that is the latest on that storm, and that's probably still the strongest storm, really between these two storms. The Martin storm, and then the Valentine storm. Those two are the strongest by far out of all the storms we have tonight. Again, we have that tornado watch that is in effect here until midnight. So another 10 minutes on this tornado watch. Let me briefly take off the radar picture, and the area shaded in that dark red, yellow color. That is where we have our tornado watch, and that includes, again, counties in South Dakota. Let's see here. Again, counties, this is for Jackson County, Bennett County, Todd, Millette, and Tripp counties in South Dakota in effect here. Now, they did actually, now that I see this, they actually did extend the tornado watch for the on the South Dakota side. So here's the deal. They extended this tornado watch out a little bit. Now the tornado watch has been extended until 2 in the morning for the eastern half of this tornado watch. So the counties of Millette, Todd, Tripp counties in South Dakota, and then Cherry County, Brown County, Rock County, and Kapah. Um, those counties tornado watch until 2 in the morning. So it got extended a couple more hours. So just wanted to let you guys know about that. Now, a lot of people are, wondering about where these storms are, which direction they're heading. And if we pull up the live radar, again, our storms here in between Valentine and Mission, and that is the strong thunderstorm that we have right now. Again, moving northeast at 30, and golf ball sized hail. So that is that storm there, and then again farther to the north, non-severe but a very intense thunderstorm, Presho down to Winter. So that is your South Dakota storm there. And just trying to look for updates here. But again, buckle up. Unfortunately, this is just the start of this major severe weather event unfolding for our region. Again, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, all those 4 states, all impacted here by what is going to be a pretty intense severe weather outbreak. And there's going to be tornado watches tomorrow for our area. It's pretty much a given at this point, based on everything that's going on. Now, let me pull up something different here. I'm going to show you guys the Outlook maps that we have while I have a minute here. We're kind of in a little bit of a lull here. The tornado warning is gone. I want to show you guys the latest Outlook maps here. Now, let me gotta take off the radar here. All right, so let me see. All right, let me see if I can pull that up here. Let's see here. Let's see here. But again, be safe out there tonight. It is going to be a stormy night and tomorrow, unfortunately. Now I'm trying to pull up the risk map here. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so this is your severe weather risk map. This is for tonight. Now, the marginal risk in green includes Sioux Falls, Aberdeen, down into Nebraska, eastern Nebraska, and then into Minnesota and northern Iowa. That is your marginal risk of severe weather. Level 1 out of 5, very minimal severe weather risk, but it is there. there still is a severe weather risk, just not as high as the yellow. So the yellow risk here is your slight risk: Rapid City, Pierre, Mulbridge, Chamberlain, Winter, down into Nebraska, Valentine, North Platte, Chadron, all in that slight risk. This is for, again, overnight hours. Now let me show you guys the tornado risk for tonight. And they actually did expand this to the east quite a bit. So now Sioux Falls is in on this. So this is for tonight. Sioux Falls is in a 2% tornado risk for tonight, not for tomorrow, for tonight. And I got a 5% tornado risk still in that area, brown shaded areas in Nebraska and south central South Dakota. Really, the anticipation here is the tornado threat is expected to diminish from now until about 2 in the morning, and then things are really going to start to drop off. We're not really going to see much severe weather overnight. It's still possible, but we're not really seeing much severe weather overnight, which is good news, obviously. But the risk is still there, 2%. So that is the latest there on, the green shaded areas. Again, that is where that tornado risk is for tonight. Again, Sioux Falls, Mitchell, Pierre, Huron, Miller, Chamberlain, and then down into O'Neill, Nebraska, and farther south. And so that is your 2% risk. Winter is still in the 5% tornado risk. So that is a little bit more heightened risk. So tonight, is not the main risk. We're going to dive into tomorrow here in just a moment. But I just want to stress that tonight is just the start of what is going to be a busy next 12 to 24 hours of major severe weather here across our area. Now let's now talk about tomorrow, because we got a lot to get to here. So tomorrow, here is your risk. We have a severe weather risk that is in effect here for tomorrow. Again, let's start with the area shaded in green: Aberdeen, Pierre, Valentine, Nebraska. You are under a marginal risk. That is a level 1 out of 5. That is a very minimal severe weather risk. Not really seeing a whole lot there. Now, when you start getting into the yellow, that is a little bit stronger. A little bit. Mitchell, Sisseton, Huron, Watertown, Chamberlain, Yankton, Sioux City, Lincoln, Nebraska, Beatrice, and then up into Minnesota, Fergus Falls, and then into, just kind of surrounding areas in that slight risk. And then we have the level 3 out of 5, that is enhanced risk. That does include Sioux Falls. So Sioux Falls is in the enhanced risk. That is level 3 out of 5, and it goes into most of Iowa. It does also include Omaha, and then it goes into Minnesota. So Marshall, and I-29 corridor, Brookings, St. Cloud, central Minnesota, Duluth, all included in that enhanced risk. That is the level 3 out of 5 that's more intense. Numerous severe storms expected. Northwest Iowa, central Iowa, all included in that enhanced risk. I would say anybody in the slight risk or higher, enhanced, moderate, you guys have to be paying attention, because this is going to be anywhere in these areas you could see severe weather, and these storms are going to blow up very quickly. Now, the red shaded areas, that is your moderate risk. That is level 4 out of 5. The only thing higher than that is a high risk, which is very rare. They very rarely post that out, period. I mean, they rarely post that. But a moderate risk is still fairly uncommon. That's not rare necessarily, but it doesn't happen every day. So we have to take this very seriously. Northern and northeastern Iowa, into Wisconsin, and then into central and southeastern Minnesota. Minneapolis, Mankato, Rochester, La Crosse, Mason City, um, and then in Wisconsin. You guys are all impacted by this moderate risk, and it even goes as far west as Redwood Falls, Windham, Jackson, Minnesota, Spirit Lake, Spencer. You guys are all in this in the moderate risk, which is the worst risk here out of all of this. So, again, anywhere in eastern South Dakota, far eastern Nebraska, all of Iowa, and most of Minnesota, with the exception of the northern part of Minnesota, uh, or northwestern corner of Minnesota, I should say, all included in this. You guys all have to be paying attention to this. Be weather aware. Have a safety plan. Get a weather radio. Doesn't matter. You just get anything you can get your hands on, and any kind of safety precautions you possibly get. Safety plan in place. Get helmets. Shoes, food, water, mattress. Lowest floor. You want to be in the lowest floor. This is your weather safety plan in case there is bad weather, headed in your direction. You want to make sure and have those things ready, because it can get pretty dicey tomorrow. And again, we have to take this seriously, because this is a very uncommon occurrence. This, especially for this time of the year. Usually we don't get this type of situation this early in the season, but it can happen, and it is very possible. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be likely that we're going to see a severe weather outbreak tomorrow. Well, actually, now it's today, so it is officially the 28th. So we are the day of now. So we are going to continue to monitor everything here. And again, now let's jump into the tornado risk. We're going to go through all of the risks here. Start with the tornado risk. Now, what you're looking at here, it's all outlined. So the outlined shaded areas in green, that is your 2% tornado risk. That is Sioux Falls, Mitchell, Huron, Watertown, Sisseton, down into Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, all in that 2% risk, and then up into Minnesota. And then you got a 5% tornado risk in brown. Now that, for Marshall over to Brookings, down just east of Sioux Falls, I think Brandon's in the 5%, Sioux Center, Sioux City, Omaha, all in that 5% tornado risk, and then southern Iowa. And then we have the 10% tornado risk in yellow, which includes Des Moines, Sheldon, Iowa, zooming in here, Worthington, Cherokee, Wilmer, St. Cloud, all these areas shaded in yellow. That is your 10% tornado risk. And then you have a 15% tornado risk, which is in red. That is your strongest risk. Again, Minneapolis, Mankato, Rochester, Mason City, all these areas impacted there. Now, again, you notice the dotted lines going through this? Well, that is actually a hatched zone, which is also uncommon. But it is a hatched severe weather risk. So that is, that's your strongest tornado risk. And, anywhere in that hatched zone, I'd say anywhere in that hatched zone, just be prepared for tornadoes to form, because it is very possible that anywhere in those areas, a tornado can spawn. So again, have your weather radio ready. Have a way to receive weather warnings. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you get them, as long as it's legit. National Weather Service is a great tool for a way to receive watches and warnings, because that's where they make those. They make the watches and warnings. National Weather Service, Storm Prediction Center is also a really good tool to use as well. So again, this in about 45 minutes to an hour, they're going to release a new risk map for this area. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that 1 a.m. update. We'll continue to provide you guys updates there. But again, that is your tornado risk. Again, anywhere in the yellow, even the brown, brown, yellow, red shaded areas, even the green. I mean, anywhere in this tornado risk, you guys need to be keeping a very close eye on the weather. Now, the hail threat. Um, so the hail risk is also very high. And if you notice, it goes back west quite a ways. Sioux Falls is actually right in the thick of this hail risk. So very large hail, at least 2 inches in diameter, possibly even 3 inches or more in diameter is certainly possible. Now, the 5% hail risk, Aberdeen is kind of on the edge of this. Pierre, also on the edge of things. Some hail is certainly possible, but not likely. And then the area shaded in yellow, Chamberlain, Huron, Sisseton, Mitchell, down into Nebraska, O'Neill. A little bit stronger risk of hail. And then that hatch zone in black, that black outlined area that includes, Mitchell, Watertown, Brookings, Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and then farther south in Omaha. And then the whole area shaded in red there, that is, basically all of Iowa, most of Minnesota, and most of Wisconsin, all impacted by that hail risk there. And that's your area of greatest hail probabilities. And Sioux Falls, again, right in the thick of that. So Sioux Falls is not by any means in the clear. If anything, Sioux Falls is right in the thick of this, just like areas to the east. And then finally, here we got our wind risk, wind map. And there's your wind risk, 5% in the brown area, Omaha, Pierre, Aberdeen, and then Sioux Falls there in the yellow. And then the greatest area in red there, Minneapolis area, Mankato, Rochester, central and eastern portions of Minnesota. And then Iowa in that yellow area, again, still a strong risk for wind there. So a lot on the table here, especially for tomorrow. There's just a lot to sort through. Now, let me show you guys the model runs here. Give me one second. So let me show you guys the model runs here, and then we're gonna hop off here for the night and get ready for what is gonna be a wild weather day tomorrow. So let me go ahead and bring up the latest HRRR model that is still in the process of loading here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. All right, so gotta pull up the HRRR here. All right, so on the models here, here is your setup. We'll run this for you guys. This is kind of the picture right now. Again, kind of near, where that line in south central South Dakota into Nebraska. That's our area we're watching right now for severe weather. That's gonna, as you can see, it's gonna form a line here and move east overnight. Aberdeen, Chamberlain, eventually Mitchell, and then eventually Sioux Falls. And then by the morning hours, that will move on east into Minnesota. And then by the afternoon hours, we start to see some development here near the Sioux Falls area by around the noon hour. noon, 1 o'clock, there could already be some initiation. Tomorrow, around the noon hour, 1 o'clock, there could be some activity there already brewing. And then by, let's see here. Trying to find a model here. So again, thunderstorms developing in Minnesota and then also in southeastern South Dakota. That's kind of what we're looking at there. And then kind of, around the Sioux Falls area and into Iowa. Looks to be our area there. So, a lot can still change yet. The model is showing different things. Now, there could even be some snow near the Black Hills region. So there could be some snow out there. Certainly possible with this kind of setup and storm. But let me kind of want to pull up a different model run here. All right, so here is your severe weather. Again, south central South Dakota. And then, it'll move east northeast, eventually impacting the Aberdeen area, Miller down to Chamberlain. And just kind of a line of thunderstorms across South Dakota. James River Valley by, overnight here, and then eventually the Sioux Falls area, and then eventually into Minnesota. And then we'll watch for redevelopment tomorrow. Now let me try to see if I can get, here we go. So again, there's that development, southwest Minnesota, southeastern South Dakota, around the noon hour tomorrow. And, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. I think there will be kind of some kind of Boeing line structure in central Minnesota there, west of the cities. That looks to be the best shot of severe weather as of now. And then, more thunderstorm activity back west towards the Sioux Falls area. And again, if that plays out, those thunderstorms developing near the Sioux Falls area, and then kind of moving east. But the key factor here is the more that, if these cells are more by themselves, we're looking at supercells and then more likely big, large hail and tornado activity. And so that is the main factor there, or will it be more of a line structure? Still trying to figure that out. A lot of people are still trying to figure that out. But that's what what it's looking like here. This one shows severe weather just west of Sioux Falls there by tomorrow morning. It is just interesting looking at these different model runs for tomorrow. A lot can happen. Like a lot of different scenarios could play out tomorrow. So it will be quite interesting to see what happens. Really any one of these storms along this line can become tornadic at any time here. Even back here towards Pierre, I found that interesting. They're trying to bring thunderstorms out here even. So that is what we're looking at there. And I think this is probably a more likely scenario. We'll have thunderstorms develop near Sioux Falls, I-29 corridor, and then probably some more thunderstorms out west. And then that line kind of moves into Minnesota there, and really that's really the peak of this. Really, to me, it looks like southern Minnesota, kind of near Mankato, is kind of the bullseye of this event. And you know, and then again, more activity here, southeastern South Dakota, northeast Nebraska, northwest Iowa. You know, these could also be tornadic. I mean, any one of these storms tomorrow could be tornadic. So again, it's just one of those days where there could easily be just a lot of severe weather, and got to be plugged in on the weather tomorrow. And uh, again, have your safety plans in place. Have a way to receive weather warnings and watches, as I can almost guarantee there's going to be watches tomorrow, tornado watches, warnings, and all those things tomorrow. And again, just please be prepared. Don't be scared. Just have a safety plan in place. Again, have a way to receive warnings and have a weather radio. Those kinds of things. But that is the latest here. I think we're gonna jump off the air here for tonight. Um, we got to get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow again could be shaping up to be an insanity major severe weather outbreak. So we're gonna jump off here. You guys stay safe out there, and we'll continue to provide you guys the latest as we get it. But that is the latest here. Have a great night out there, guys. Please stay safe, and again, be prepared for tomorrow. It's going to be could be a very crazy day tomorrow. But again, just stay safe out there and have a good night.